Hello, my name is Rebecca, and I live in Southwest Missouri in Garden Zone 6B, but this is not a gardening video. We are currently camping at Lake Catherine State Park near Hot Springs, Arkansas, but this is also not a camping video. These are clips from when my sister came to visit at the end of February, and we put to use the quilting and sewing room that my husband and I had converted the small garage to. And it shows a little bit of the chaos and the mess of two sisters quilting together, sharing a sewing and quilting space. Towards the end of the video, I show clips of the two quilts that she completed, and at the very end of the video, I show a clip of the quilt I made for our bedroom and our camper. So anyway, I hope you enjoy. Welcome to our quilting and sewing room, which we jokingly call the quilting sweatshop. My sister has been here since Thursday. Today is Wednesday. That is my sister and myself when we were very young. And thought I'd do a video. I'd done a video of how this looked when we first got it kind of set up and going. This is what it looks like after we've been quilting in it for a week. We did do a little cleanup. My sister has completed 2 baby quilts and is starting a 3rd quilt. She's got her panels covered up, so I can't really show you right now. But so she's working on her 3rd quilt. My husband recently brought down a tabletop to use on this old vintage rusted metal kitchen thing that I've still got to get cleaned up and painted. I haven't done that yet, but that's been a big help to have that countertop there. We're going to have a TV and probably old school VCR and DVD players to watch movies. This is our pressing table. It is on wheels. We have a little storage dresser, storage there. There's my quilt frame and my long arm. And let me throw that quilt over so it's not like that. Alrighty, so this is a quilt for our camper that I've been working on. I bought these camping panels and fabric probably a year or so ago. So I got the top pieced, and then I also pieced the back just with leftover scrap fabrics. And I've been quilting it, and I'm quilting it fairly close together. And then I may turn it and quilt it a little bit the other way. I haven't decided yet. So that's what I've been working on since Thursday. We've got storage underneath the frame. Got a shop vac, and I kind of wish I'd bought a bigger shop vac. But anyway, it does help clean up the threads and stuff. We have dog toys down here and dog beds because sometimes the dogs come down here, but they prefer to be upstairs in their comfier beds. So we've still got storage back there. I picked out fabrics yesterday for my next 5 quilts that I hope to get made this year. So 2 fabrics for 2 quilts in the bottom, fabrics for 2 quilts in the middle, and fabrics for 1 quilt on the top. And then here's my sewing area with all my stuff everywhere, computer, embroidery machine. Of course, you got to have the radio, and you got to have Snape. You always got to have Snape. And up here, I love me some Alan Rickman, so up here I've got Snape and Hans Gruber. And if they ever come out with a Funko Pop of his Galaxy Quest person, you know I'm going to be on getting that. So pardon the dust. Our pixies have not been taking care of stuff as they should, but anyway. So there's all my thread laid out for this. I'm working on this for winter wall hanging, and so these are all the thread colors, and I have them laid out, and my little cheat sheet for all of that, so as I'm embroidering I can get all that taken care of. So anyway, yeah, and then we have our sewing Tylenol that stays down here because we get to sewing and we get to aching and all that stuff. So then there's my machine for piecing quilts. So that's on wheels, that's on wheels, that's on wheels, that's on wheels, this is on wheels. If you have a room that you're sharing, or even just for yourself where you're working on projects, put wheels on stuff. It just makes your life so much easier. So anyway, that's what the quilting sweatshop looks like at this point in time, when it's not all shiny and new and we've actually been using it. And I won't be mean and get my sister on the camera. So,
Please don't.
so anyway, thanks for stopping by. Happy quilting. Just wanted to jump in here and talk about why having stuff on casters is so helpful. Able to move my sewing table around, move the cutting table over here, pin my binding, and then I can use the table to help hold this big old quilt as I'm sewing the binding on. Actually, it's self-binding because I'd made the top of this way too big, so using the border I put around it as binding helps make it just a little bit smaller. And you can see a little bit where I piece the back and how that kind of looks. But anyway, just having stuff on casters makes stuff in a craft room, sewing room more versatile and lets you work easier with less strain on you and your projects, because you know when you're working with a big quilt you need something to kind of hold it up, and this works really well to be able to turn the table, use the table, and turn the sewing table and use the cutting table to help hold up the quilt. And that has been also one of the best things I have loved about getting this quilting frame. I had a sit-down quilting table, traded in and got this quilting frame, and to have this to be able to lay out long quilting pieces as you're doing the rows, to pin them together. If you're on the fence about going from a sit-down long arm to a frame long arm, I highly recommend it. So anyway, just wanted to show the versatility of having your craft tables on casters. Another day quilting. This is the quilt my sister's working on. This is the third one. Like I said, she finished 2 baby quilts, and she's working on a summer quilt for her bed. She's upstairs getting dressed and ready. She's going to be going to St. Louis tomorrow to see her grandbaby, and since she's got to leave early in the morning, she's gone ahead and getting everything ready to go this morning, and then so she can just come downstairs and quilt. This is my next quilt I'm working on. I'm calling it a spring quilt, and yeah, maybe would not have chosen all these fabrics to go together, but my goal this year is to use fabric that I have, and it does go together better in person than what it's kind of looking here. But these 3 will be the main part of the quilts. This will probably be one of the borders. But my goal is to use up fabric I already have and not really have to buy much more fabric. So that's what we're doing. I'm matching up stuff as best I can. These will be personal use quilts. You know, I don't make quilts to sell. I make quilts for family and, you know, sometimes for friends. If, you know, I just make them, and then, you know, if somebody wants a quilt, I'm like, oh, well, here, I got a quilt. Do you like this one? And don't do it for profit, because that would make me, that would stress me out. So I don't do that. This is the pattern my sister's loosely following. She's going to have the chevrons, and then she's going to have panels, and I'm not sure what all she's doing in the middle, but she's, I think, going to have 3 panels of the chevrons and then whatever else. So today's going to be a full day of quilting. I'm going to set up my computer and watch YouTube videos as I quilt and see how far I get on this. Oh, let me show you the pattern I'm using. Sorry if I'm walking too fast. Try not to make you sick. So this is called Corner Play, and the instructions are for 3 yards of fabric, and it makes a 45 by 63 inch quilt. Well, I'm making a queen size quilt, so it's going to be at least probably 90. The dimensions I have written down is 84 by 92, but I think I'm actually going to make it 90 by 108. Make it a little bit larger. So, like I said, my 3 main fabrics, and then that one border around the outside will probably be that kind of funny retro looking fabric that I love. I love all the fabrics. Well, I'm not a big fan of pink, so I'm not a big fan of this one, but I had it, so that's what I'll be using. I absolutely love this one, love this one, love this one. But this went better with it than anything else I had. And then this helps tie these all together, I think. So, like I said, it's not, if I was shopping for fabric and going into the fabric store and picking out 4 different fabrics for quilts, would I have necessarily, I probably would have still picked this one. Would I have necessarily picked this one to go with it or this one to go with it? Probably not. I probably would have picked some lavender because there is some lavender up in here. But we're using what we have. And so I'll just add this to the continuing. I guess this is becoming a quilt vlog. I do want to put in some pictures of here of the 2 baby quilts, or the quilt and the throw that my sister finished. And then my camper quilt, but I want to get it washed and actually put it out on the camper bed before I take pictures of it front and back. So anyway, there's just another little update. Today is Thursday, so she got here last Thursday night. And so we've been quilting. We quilted Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Went into town shopping Tuesday. Quilting Wednesday, Thursday. She's going to St. Louis Friday, Saturday, Sunday, coming back here Monday, and then going back to Texas on Tuesday. So this will probably be our last, definitely be our last full day of quilting. I don't know if we'll do any quilting Monday afternoon. We may just do some more shopping, but we'll see. Okay, my sister's getting ready to go back to Texas, so I wanted to quickly show you the 2 quilts she's made. This is a baby blanket. It's very cute. She did a really cute job quilting on it. And it's just a panel she bought, and that's the front. And then on the back, she has some really cute flannel fabric and then cute binding. So that one turned out really well. That's one of the ones she got made here. She got it made start to finish. Okay, and the second one she quilted, the quilt top was made by her friend's grandmother, and she was asked to put it together with a backing and quilt it, so that's what she did. It was pieced by hand, very scrappy, very nice. And then my sister put a backing on it and quilted it. And then I did the binding for her. I always do all her binding for her because I just do. I enjoy it more than she does, and I don't enjoy it that much, but I do it for her. And so anyway, this came out to be about a full-size quilt or a large throw, but I love this one. 1, because it's vintage, 2, because it's scrappy, and just, you know, look at some of this fun fabric. So that's what she got done, and I'll post a picture of my quilt later. Here we have the completed camper quilt on the camper bed. I'll have to be trying to get it from different angles. You will probably hear dogs scampering around on the floor. But yeah, I used these panels and figured out a layout to make it work. My husband's outside putting up lawn chairs because it is supposed to rain later today. We've been camping since Friday. Today is Sunday, Easter Sunday, so happy Easter to all that celebrate, even though this will be posted the Wednesday after Easter. And we're going home tomorrow. Just got a text from my sister that Mom has biscuits and gravy on the stove, and or biscuits in the oven and gravy on the stove, and it's almost ready to get over there. So gonna wrap this up. But yeah, I'm real pleased with how it turned out, and I hope y'all enjoyed seeing this quilting and sewing room update and quilting vlog. Thank you for stopping by, and y'all come back.